What's up, fam? Agent O here with another Thrant, and today's Thrant is going to be entitled A Collector's Store Guide. Now, this Thrant is mainly for any new coming or people who just started collecting action figures or collectible toys or whatnot. This is just a kind of like a how-to guide or kind of like a pros and cons guide of some of the sites that I deal with on a regular basis. And I've done a lot of shopping on different sites. I've had some good experiences with some, and I've had some bad experiences with others. So I just kind of want to shed some light on some of the things that that new coming collectors and also maybe some veteran collectors may or may not know about or may have even noticed. And because we have to face it, there's going to come a time when brick and mortar stores shopping, it just won't be worth it anymore. I've seen it now. I've seen it more and more with some of these these last figures or last lines, like with G.I. Joe and Transformers. They've had some, especially in Hasbro's case, I know they've had some weird distribution issues. Like there was one figure I never saw in the stores, at least in my area. I saw it. I ended up finding it was skid. It was Skids. It was the Transformers Generation Skid, and I was looking for that. All those figures in that line. I think it also came with Waspinator, and I can't remember who else was in that line, but I never saw it in any of the stores. Never saw it at Target, Toys R Us, Walmart, not even at Kmart, Meijer. I didn't see it anywhere until I saw it. Till actually Strident told me they had it at a Kroger's, out in this well-to-do bougie spot. It was like a really nice Kroger, and they had action figures there, and they actually had the Waspinator, the Skids figure, and also the new Bumblebee, where he looks like a Camaro, the IDW style Bumblebee. That was the other figure in that line. But they were there, and usually you don't see toys show up in Kroger's or in your drug marts or your convenience stores until they haven't sold like in all the other big name stores. So I was surprised to see this figure there when I never ever saw it in the stores, in the main stores. So we have those distribution issues, and then we also have to deal with fucking scalpers. And they're with scalpers there are just a couple of problems that takes all of the fun physically from going to the stores these days, because they're grabbing up every single figure and then turning around and selling it on eBay after the line just dropped, and already they're for like heavily inflated prices, selling for almost double what you would pay for in the store. And it's made it difficult, and it's just made it annoying wanting to go out and actually having the it's fun going out and collecting, especially if you're you make like a a day with it, with your friends or whatever. I've gone on a few toy runs with people I know, and it sucks when you go out and you don't find what you're looking for because the other guys were sitting there waiting right when the store opened and ran in, and they're literally grabbing shit out of the boxes. They haven't even hit the store shelves yet, and people are grabbing shit out the boxes and taking it all, not leaving anything for anyone else. So yeah, that shit is annoying. So like I said, it's gonna come a time where it's just gonna be more convenient to just buy shit online. Hell, even with this past Marvel Legends Infinite X-Men series, that Toys R Us, it's a Toys R Us exclusive series, but Toys R Us ran a pre-order sale on that entire line. Like I think if you bought one, you bought one full price, you can get the other one for like 14 or 40% off or something like that. It ended up being you buy one for $22, you get the other one basically for $14. And had I known that, I would have just pre-ordered the entire line, and I would have never stepped foot in the Toys R Us. I still ended up finding everything I wanted, but minus the Magneto figure, which I don't want. I just want the Build-A-Figure piece with it so I can complete my Jubilee. So I ended up, since I couldn't find that figure anywhere, I ended up going online and paying a scalper price for the Build-A-Figure piece. So, once again, it's a combination of these issues that we just keep having with shoddy distribution and shitty ass scalpers out there fucking it up for everybody. So for some people this is just fun, and other people are trying to turn this shit into a business, trying to eat off of scalping, which is fucking ridiculous. But it's whatever. So anyway, I'm just gonna move on to starting to review some of these toy companies. Now I'm just gonna talk about the ones that I deal with on a regular basis, because I don't want to speak on sites that I've never used. And I also want to reiterate that I'm not backed by any of these stores. I'm not sponsored by any of these stores that I'm going to mention. I just want to put this out there for people who may be a little wary with dealing with certain companies online, because after all, you're doing money transactions over the internet, and you don't know who it is that you're dealing with on the other side of the Ethernet. So because I've had shitty dealings with a couple of companies in the past, and they're not companies that I don't think are widely known here in the States. I think there are two of them. One of them was mainly a Chinese company. I think they were in Hong Kong. Another one was in Japan. That a couple companies I'd never heard of. I was looking for something, had some issues with them. Eventually got them resolved, but it taught me a lesson about being more wary about which companies I deal with. So that's why I'm doing this video. So without further ado, I'm going to jump into the first website online store, which is going to be Big Bad Toy Store. And obviously you've seen if you've watched any reviews from some of the sponsored cats, they're always plugging Big Bad Toy Store like it's the go-to place. And I mean, and the store does have a lot of good things about it. Like, some of the pros are that BBTS has a huge selection of both American, import, independent, and third-party toys to choose from. They have a lot of toy-related products. They have clothing, apparel, and they've got graphic novels. So if you're into that, it's basically, I'm not gonna lie, Big Bad Toy Store is basically like a Walmart superstore of action figure and action figure related items. The site's pretty easy to navigate. It's got lots of categories and sections, so it can help you to narrow down what you want really fast, because like I said, there's a lot of stuff on this site. A lot of stuff for sale on this site. Pre-ordering is pretty easy. You can choose to pay at any time of the pre-order, or when the product comes in, you can choose to pay then. And you can cancel your pre-orders at any time. They also ship worldwide. There's also a section for clearance items, and in my experience, I haven't come across any really good deals worth mentioning, but that doesn't mean that there aren't any good deals out there. I just didn't see anything I wanted. But maybe you out there, with different tastes and everything, you might find something you might like, and if it's selling for cheaper, then hey, go for it. That just gives you more money to do other things, or to buy other stuff that you're looking for. They even get a hold of some Tamashi web exclusives, and they make them available for pre-order. And so far with pre-orders and stuff, I haven't really had any customer service or shipping issues. So I can't really comment on how they respond to when you do have problems, because I actually haven't had any problems with them yet. And they also have they also got their pile of loot, which is basically their you buy a bunch of figures, or you buy one figure this month, and then a couple months later you buy another figure. They hold it for you. They hold those figures for you in their warehouse, until you're ready to have them shipped to you. So you can combine shipping on multiple items, and it actually does help you save. I don't use it that often, but I did use it when the last 3 SH Figure Art Power Ranger figures dropped. I just waited until all 3 of them came out, and then it was when the whole line was done, and then I had them ship the whole all 3 figures to me. And I think it only ran me, like, in shipping costs, standard USPS shipping, I think it was only like $8 or something like that. It wasn't very high, and I know that if I had bought those figures, say individually, or say if I bought them off eBay or something, I know the sellers there would have charged me like $8 to $10 or more for just sending one of those figures in box. So it is good for that. I can't really argue. I don't have never had any issues with it. Now, some of the cons about this site is, I think the biggest con of all to me is the pricing on some of these figures. The Tamashii web exclusives are usually marked up from whatever the original price the Tamashii website had, and for some reason there are some figures that just seem to be marked up for like no reason at all. And I have an example of this, which is the Riobot Jehudi figure from the Zone of Enders game by the company Sentinel. On their site, on Big Bad Toy Store, that site is, that figure goes for $152.99. Now, originally when the figure dropped, or when it was available for pre-order, it was $169, and I took screen captures so you can see I'm not making this shit up. And then when you go to, I went to Hobby Search because I also shop there, and I'll get to talking about them in a little bit, but it was significantly less. Now on that site, it was selling for $117.54 US. That's minus shipping, but shipping's never been that big of a deal price-wise for me, even though that figure was coming from Japan to me, and I don't understand why this figure had to be so expensive on the Big Bad Toy Store site, because the site, their warehouse and their business is here in America. I think it's in California somewhere, and Hobby Search is all the way in Japan, but Hobby Search has the better price. So like I said, there's weird pricing at times when it comes to Big Bad Toy Store. Now I notice with like Transformers and certain other figures, when I see them on other sites, on other web stores, they're the same price, but then every once in a while you just get the weird figure that just costs more there than it does anywhere else. And I do have a nitpick, because I did notice that there are certain items that are on pre-order almost like indefinitely, like the Generations like the Classics, Transformers Classics Whirl, the Voyager figure. I have that figure. I got it from Toys R Us, but at the time when I was doing screen caps for this Thrant, it was still on pre-order, and I didn't know why. I was like, this figure's out. I've seen it like all over the place where I live, but they still have it on pre-order. Same thing with when you buy like a case of Marvel Legends. There were, the line had been dropped, but then they still had pre-orders open for their line. So once again, that's weird. I think that's chalking that up to maybe Hasbro's weird habit of distribution. But yeah, that's basically it for Big Bad Toy Store, in my experience anyway. Like I said, I'm sure other people have had different experiences with that site. This is just what I've had to deal with, which hasn't been much. So it's why I do use them to shop from time to time. Now, I'm a huge Transformer nut, so I gotta review TF Source, because I have bought a lot of Transformers, mainly third-party figures from that site. It is TF Source and Toy Source, they're the same site basically. Just Toy Source deals with everything, and TF Source only deals with Transformers. So, one of the pros is it is the one-stop place for all your Transformer toys, both, official Hasbro, Takara Tomy, and for the third-party figures. They basically carry every third-party company that's out there putting out figures. If they're putting out figures, they're probably for sale on TF Source. They have relatively fast shipping. They also have free shipping if you make an order that's $150 and up. They do also have order stacking, which has been helpful. I'm actually have 3 items that I'm stacking right now, because I used Anyway, I'll get to that in a little bit. Um, I also want to talk about how they also have fast customer service response. I had when I bought the Fans Project Diesel figure, it was when I got it, it was missing some parts. It was missing like the rear wheels of the trailer, because that part detaches and it can become a shield for Diesel, aka Motor Master, or when you combine them in a Menasor. It's like on the chest piece. It's like a center chest piece for the figure. So I obviously need that. I obviously need that piece because the figure's not complete without it. Either the Gestalt or that figure is not complete without it. So I sent an email to TF Source. They hit me back right away. I think maybe within that day or maybe the next. Telling me they sent me a form to fill out, told me what I need to do. They asked me to take pictures of what was missing, so I did that. I took some pictures, sent some pictures to them, so that they could get a better idea. And then I mailed the figure back to them, and they mailed the figure to me. They mailed me the new figure, or the same figure I had with the piece that was missing. So they were pretty responsive, and they handled it pretty well. But you do have to take note that you have exactly 14 days from the day you receive your package to send it back if you have any problems. So you got to remember that. I almost let that figure sit in the box for 2 weeks because I had it in my living room, because I was like, oh, I'll open it when I get to it, because I already know what it is. I was eager, but I had other shit going on. I was doing other stuff, and so I was like, yo, I'll get to it eventually. And then finally I opened it, and I was like, holy shit, it's missing. And I had literally like 2 days left out of the 14 days, because that's how long I had it sitting around. And so once again, get on your figure, open it the day you get it, which you should do anyway, because you're going to be excited to get the toy. But open it the day you get it, and check it over, give it a once over to make sure everything's where it's supposed to be, and it comes with everything it's supposed to have. Now, with that out of the way, I'm going to get to the cons of this site, because this site does have some cons, and they're kind of shitty cons. But one of the first major cons that I have with this site is that there's no way to cancel or alter a pre-order, which actually led me to the second part of a problem. The second part of my problem was they had double charged me one time when one of my other orders came in. They charged me because I had pre-ordered. You can choose to pre-order and pay when the figure comes in, or you can pay when you pre-order. I chose to pay these two of the I think it was Breakdown and Wild Rider. I chose to pay for both of those Fans Project figures when the figures came in. So when they came in, I went to my pre-order page and I clicked on the two figures that I pre-ordered, and then I added them to my cart. But you can't just click on the pre-order and just go from there. You have to order it like you were ordering it, like you'd never pre-ordered the figure. So when Drag Strip and Dead End came in, they had charged me for Breakdown and Wild Rider, so they sent those figures to me again. So now I had doubles of these figures that I only ordered them once, but they sent me doubles. So I had to email them. They got back to me. I told them what was up. They gave me the form, filled out why I was sending the figures back, sent them back, and luckily they paid for the shipping, and they refunded me my money. So as long as you're straight up with them and you have a legitimate problem, they will handle it and they'll take care of it, and and everybody's happy. So that's one of my issues with their pre-order ordering system. If you're gonna pre-order, you may as well just pay for it right then and there, because it saves you. No, you don't have any no fuss. You don't have to worry about possibly getting charged later on. But my other con about this site is that the point system is not all that the site cracks it up to be. The point system is actually pretty shitty, because you get a decent amount of points for buying figures, that's not an issue. But the issue I take with their point system is that you have to buy stuff in order to apply your points to another item, and you can't just apply your points to, say, the things you're buying or to other items in their store. They have a section on the site sectioned off for just stuff that they have available that you can use your points on. So it's basically the stuff in that section of the site is stuff that's just sitting in the back corner of their warehouse that nobody wanted to buy. There are some masterpiece figures on there. Like at the time of this recording, and then the time I took screen caps, there were a couple masterpiece figures on there. But you have to spend like almost $1,000 in order to, and then have the points in order to get them for free. So no matter what, you're gonna be paying in order to get free shit, which is just kind of weird. And I'll explain why I find that weird, because there's another site that I'm going to talk about that has a point system that I think works a lot better. It's not perfect, but it's a lot better than TF Source. So yeah, I don't care for their point system. And even though I say that, I did use their point system to buy some parts that I was going to use to customize a world figure that I'm trying to make. And I'll eventually get a review up for that too once I get it all done and stuff. I gotta get paint and a bunch of other things that I'm gonna need, but that's why I've been slow rolling on it. But I used it so I didn't have to pay to. I had all these points, so I was like, I may as well use it to get this kit that I'm gonna need to customize my world figure, so that and I didn't want to pay for it, so I used the point system. But I still think the point system is garbage. And once again, I'll explain why. Also, this other con that I find out very weird about this site is that TF Source has an eBay page. I mean, what? Like, they have an eBay page and they're actually kind of scalping. So ODC, that's me. I'm gonna have to take a page out of your playbook, because I know how you like to expose scalpers on eBay. But I'm gonna take that page. I'm gonna borrow it, but I'm gonna give it right back. Because I want to lightweight expose this scalping that they're doing, because it's not cool. I was on there and I just happened to come across their eBay page, and I noticed that they had one of the Warbatron. I think it was Brawl. I think it's supposed to be Brawl, but they called it something else. He's one of the figures that forms into Bruticus, into their version of Bruticus, and I saw it on there for like a $10 markup from what it cost to get it on the site, and it's still available on the site right now, so you can buy it for regular price right now off their site. At the time of this recording, at the time of this posting of this video, it's available on their site, so it's not sold out or anything, because it's a relatively new figure, so it just came out. So why they're double dipping like this, I have no clue. I mean, I figured they make more than enough money off of their website because of all the fucking Transformer completist fanboys out there, because there's a whole lot of them, and some of these guys just love to just throw money away. I don't buy everything. There's stuff out there I want to buy, but I just can't, because I can't. I guess I don't got it like they do. So I'm not hating. I'm just saying, even if I had that disposable income, I don't think I would go out and just throw my money at every single thing I wanted. I would still be picky, because I'm just a picky person. But yeah, that's what I don't understand why they're doing that. Why they're scalping like that? Because they have some figures that sell for the same price as on eBay as it does on the website, and then for some reason I just happened to come across that figure, and I didn't understand why it was selling for more than what it's selling off the site. I just think that's fucked up. So, there's other Transformer sites like CapturedPrey.com and RobotKingdom.com. Captured Prey also sells other figures too, and from other toy lines and stuff. And Robot Kingdom is basically all about Transformers. But I haven't had any dealings with either site, so I really can't speak on any of those sites. I haven't heard anything overly disparaging about them. Robot Kingdom I think they just revamped their site or something like that. Because before, I hated going to their site because it was like shitty navigation. I don't know who planned the navigation for that site, but they needed to go back to web design class and learn how to properly, map out your main page and do a website tree to map out how to get around that site better, because it was shit-tastic before. It's better now. But with that, I'm going to move on to the next site, which is Hobby Search. Now, I like Hobby Search a lot. I do a lot of buying off of this site also. One of their pros is that they have a large import-export superstore. I mean, they have everything from Hasbro, Takara Tomy, Bandai, they have Mecha, they have model kits, they have modeling tools for people who like to customize their Gundams and stuff like that. They also have Super Sentai figures, they have Marvel and DC, they have collectibles and action figures. A lot of it is mostly Japanese, but they do have a lot of American brands too. I haven't really had any trouble with shipping from them. There's a decent turnaround time, despite the fact that, packages have to go through customs and stuff, and all that other, national security bullshit. Because these figures are coming from Japan, they're being shipped from Japan to America, and the pricing is about the same for the figures and stuff as it is everywhere else. From time to time, I do come across some figures that run a little cheaper on Hobby Search compared to everywhere else, like i.e. the Ryobot Jehudi. And also, they have, from time to time, they put up a link on the left side menu bar for their bargain bin section. It's not always available, but if you get an email newsletter, they usually notify you through that when the link is available. And when it comes up, you better fucking take a look, because I have found some really good deals on stuff I actually wanted to buy, and it was marked down significantly lower. Because most bargain clearance portions of websites have crap that you just wouldn't want to take even if it was given for free. Hobby Search has that too, but if you're fast, you can find good stuff in there, like Rebel Tech figures, SIC Kiwami Tamashii figures. I had gotten Kaiza's Kiwami Tamashii bike for half price. It was selling for like $40. I ended up getting it for $20 at the time when I saw it in their bargain bin. I got Rebel Tech figures for half price. I had gotten a Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann figure. I actually was trying to get two because Strident wanted one too. And so I got his, and then when I went to go back and buy another one, I couldn't because I had literally just bought the last one. So I just gave that one to him, and then I ended up getting another Gurren Lagann figure from another company, which I still need to do a review on that. I'll eventually get to it one day, I don't know. But anyway, like I said, they have really good bargains in there from time to time. You just got to be fast and get in there before everyone else does, and then you don't get in. Then you're just left, paging through the stuff that nobody else wants. And like I said, the other pro about this site is their point system. I think their point system overall is way better than TF Source's point system. TF Source's point system sucks, and I'll explain why this point system is a lot better. This point system, it functions a lot like TF Source, but you can apply your points to any item on the site, and not just the shit sitting in the back of the warehouse like on TF Source. You don't need, and you don't have to buy anything in order to utilize your points. You can pretty much say, let's say you pick a Hot Toys figure you want, like the new Falcon from the Captain America Winter Soldier movie. Say that figure's awesome. Say you have enough points, to get that Hot Toys figure. Well, when you're on your checkout screen, you can apply your points, and if you have enough of those points, then maybe you have enough to cover the figure, but all you gotta do is pay for shipping. Well, now you got a free Hot Toys figure, basically. Now, granted, the catch is that that if you want some of the really expensive items, you'll have to save a shit ton of points to get them. Even if you don't have enough points, you can still apply those points though, so you don't have to, it can help reduce the overall sale price of the figure, depending on the cost of said figure and, you know, the total amount of number of points you got. So it's still a fairly decent way to get an occasional discount on a purchase. You know, you can get an occasional discount, or like I said, if you got enough points, you can get it for free. So you can't beat that. You know, I mean, they do want you to spend money, so obviously that's why the points take a lot to get some of the more expensive stuff. But, you know, it is what it is. And like I said, it's not perfect, but it's a better point system than TF Source. Now, the con that I have with this site, and it's only one real con, is that, you know, is that there is their pre-order system. Their pre-ordering system is pretty standard, but the thing that I don't like is that once you pre-order something, you're pretty much contractually bound to pay for it once that item's available. You know, there's no way you can cancel a pre-order once made, because they don't give you an option to cancel it. So make sure when you pre-order something, make sure it's something you really want, because you're gonna have to pay for it once it comes in, because they don't charge you until the figure comes in. And you can pre-order either through your PayPal account, or I usually use my credit card. But you can even store your credit card information on there. I don't, just in case somebody happens to hack the site, then they get everybody's credit information. So I don't store my credit information on any fucking site. I just type it in each time I buy something, because I don't want my stuff getting stolen by somebody. So, you know, but you know, you can cancel your pre-order, but the only way you can do it is to just not pay for it. So if you don't have your PayPal account linked to Hobby Search, or you don't have a credit card on file, then if you don't pay for your pre-order, then they cancel it, but you get penalized. And if you do that one too many times, then Hobby Search will terminate your account as punishment. So, you know, if you like the site like I do, I try not to give them any reason to kick me off of it, because I like the site. Now, with that, you know, that's pretty much all I have to say about Hobby Search. Now, I want to talk a little bit about Hobbylink Japan, because I have bought figures off of Hobbylink Japan, and, you know, once again, the pros is that it's another Japanese import site. You know, they've been around for a hell of a long time. They have action figures, model kits, vehicles, etc., etc. They have a lot of cool stuff. Their clearance discount area, it has a lot of stuff that you can choose from, but some of it may not be to your cup of tea, but there is still, you know, plenty to choose from. I one time I found it was the two of the SH Figure Art Akiba Ranger figures selling for $14. So, you know, at the time I have them all now, but at that time I really wasn't into it, because I hadn't watched the show yet, and Strident kept telling me, yo man, you gotta watch the show, Agent O, you gotta watch this show, it's so dope, it pays so much homage to Super Sentai, you gotta watch it. And me, I'm a casual Super Sentai fan. You know, I just like the look of the characters and stuff that they do on the show in the martial arts. So I was like, alright, yeah, I'll get to it, but I kept pissing around, you know, procrastinating. Then I watched the show and I was like, oh shit, this is really damn good. And I like the look of these characters. I gotta get these figures. But that was well after I had found those SH Figure Arts for $14. So Strident took advantage of that. I didn't, and it's too bad, because I could have saved a hell of a lot of money. I mean, that's well over 50% off, you know, for those figures. So, like I said, there are some deals to be had on if you look for them on these sites. You know, if you check periodically, you can find good shit. The only con with this site that I can think of is that sometimes the turnaround time for ordering figures, it feels a little long. I'm guessing it's just mainly due to immigration. You know, who knows? Someone in the government may think that some terrorist is trying to smuggle a dirty bomb or drugs and Transformers figures. You know, fucking, I don't know, you know. But that's really the only con I've had with Hobbylink. I've never had any issues with any of the figures they sent me, or, you know, QC, or they never sent me the wrong order or anything. So that's really all I can speak on about that figure. There's, like I said, if you look around, you'll find different toy store companies and web shops and stuff, and it's up to you whether you want to take advantage of what they have to offer and buy from those sites. But basically, in conclusion, because I'm just gonna end it right here, I don't want to go through every single big toy store out there, because there's other toy stores like ages 3 and up, and I'm not gonna go through all of them. There's just too many. So basically, in conclusion, the moral of this Thrant is basically this. It's for me, variety is the spice of life. So you need to shop around and add some variety to your shopping methods. Who knows, because you might find a good deal or two and save yourself some money, and there's nothing wrong with that. Now, one might think that this would be common sense, but when you have some of these quote-unquote reviewers who they give you these half-assed, sugar-coated reviews and then tell you, I buy all my stuff from Big Bad Toy Store, or I buy all your Transformers from TF Source, and when I'm out and about on a hot summer day, I like to chill with a cool, refreshing Coca-Cola. All that bullshit. Don't listen to all those fucks, because they obviously have some kind of sponsorship or endorsement deal. You obviously get deals because they're getting figures earlier than everyone else. Whatever. I know that's become their job. I don't think those guys actually have your best intentions in mind anymore, because now their job went from reviewing figures to getting some kind of they reviewed figures at first, and then they got some kind of exclusive deal, and now they're trying to sell you figures in the guise of a review. If they really cared about you, the consumer, they wouldn't be telling you, what I've been telling you this whole Thrant. They would just tell you to just buy your shit from whatever store is giving them money or giving them figures before everyone else gets them. That's become their job. They're not, to me, they're not reviewing figures. They're just giving long-winded commercials, because they glance over all the shit that's wrong with the figure. I've literally watched somebody review a Figma Link, Legend of Zelda Link figure, and the fucking figure fell apart during the goddamn review. They were taking the head off, and the fucking face fell off, the shield came apart in pieces or some shit, and then they turned around and said, this is a great figure, you should buy it. I was like, what? The motherfucking figure just fell apart on your camera. You didn't even go back and edit that shit out. You just left it in there. So yeah, man, fuck those dudes, And I'm not saying listen to me either. You're free to do whatever the fuck you want to do. In the words of the Hodge twins, you can do whatever the fuck you want to do. So yeah, that's just pretty much gonna do it, man. I got nothing else to add to this. So hopefully this helps some of you guys out. And for those of you that probably didn't need as much help to begin with, maybe you learned a little something you didn't know before. So with that, without further ado, I'm gonna call it a night. I'm Agent O, and I'm out. Peace.